Hi everyone, I'm back with you today to show you some ways to use a tag and to make a tag. In my last video I made this tag book in which it opens and then there's a little box in there to hold tags, and so today I'm going to actually make a tag. And another way you can use tags is to put them on gift bags. And so after I'm done making the tag, I'm going to show you, I'm going to take my camera. It might get a little bumpy, so I apologize if it's going to be. So here's a gift bag I made. It's got the top and I have a tag hanging off the side here. And you don't really do much with the paper that you add to the bag because you want the paper to be the focus. You know, that's real pretty. That Heartland collection from Blue Fern has a beautiful picture in the corner, so I didn't want to mess with that and mess up the paper. So by putting this tag on the side, I think it adds a lot. So I'm going to show you how to make the topper and the tag and see what we can come up with for Valentine's Day. Hopefully that didn't get too wobbly for you. So I started off with this chipboard tag, and I got this from the Country Craft Creation store, and it came in a pack of 6. And so I'm going to alter this one pretty quickly. I took some of the paper from the collection, and I like to put paper on both sides, and I use 2 things to adhere the paper. Sometimes I use the art glitter glue that is quick drying, and it's a wet glue. It's fabulous. But I also like, when I'm adhering the paper to the chipboard, I use this Yoo-hoo stick, and it's the only time that I use a glue stick, but I think it gives a good, it really, I don't know, it just seems to give it a firm hold on that chipboard. So then after I put the Yoo-hoo glue on, I take my brayer and I just give it a good rolling to make sure that it sticks. So those are the 2 that I use to attach the paper. So on this is the Heartland collection by Blue Fern, and I took my distress ink, the Victoria Velvet, and I went around all the sides, both the front and the back. Okay, and now I'm going to add one of the cutouts from the collection. I'm just going to put it somewhere in the center here. Now, one of the things I'll be adding, I like to have a focal point on my tag, or I like to have something to start with to know that I want to work around. So this heart was actually a piece of chipboard. The back is still that, but I'm going to use this as my main focal point on my tag. What I did was I used some Versa ink, and to make this this red glittery color, I used the Imagine ink by Blue Fern. It's the embossing powder. And so I actually did it twice. I embossed it twice. And so I'm going to put this probably about, well, maybe I want to go below the hole. Okay, so I'm just trying to line it up as to where I want it. So I think I'll put the picture about right there. And so I'm going to just adhere that. Now I did take the Victorian Velvet from Jim Holtz, and I put that on the edge of this paper too. So let's see if I have enough glue left in my, yep, I do. I'm just going to go around the edge here. This is a quick drying glue, and I can make a tag in pretty much, I mean, if I have all my supplies out and ready, it doesn't take long at all, and that's why I'm like making them so much. And I think they add a lot to gifts when you're giving them a gift bag or whatever. So okay, so I think it was about right here. Try to get that as close to the center. Let me double check. Yep, that's gonna work, I think. And I'll just give it a firm press. So the next thing I'm going to do is adhere this heart, and I was trying to decide if I wanted it offset, or I'm going to end up putting it, I think, in the middle. So I'm going to put adhesive on the back of the bottom and the top of the heart. You know, with this black background, it might be kind of hard to see. I wonder if I should lay a piece of white paper out. Let's see how that does. I have some white paper here. I need a new mat anyway, because mine has seen better days. So let me try putting this in the back and see if that helps a little bit. Give it a chance to adjust the camera. Well, hopefully you can see that. Okay, so I am going to put some of the glitter glue on the top and the bottom and put that on my tag. I'm running low on this glue. And some down here. And I will be embellishing on top of the heart. I'll put some flowers, and I like to put lace on mine. Okay. And let me, I think that works. I'm going to press it down. You know, this new camera is driving me insane. I wonder, there's got to be a feature. I think it's like trying to do that autofocus thing, and I've seen other people's cameras do that, so I'm going to go into the settings later and see if I can adjust that, because that drives me crazy. And if it drives me nuts, it's probably driving you nuts too. So, okay, so there is the base. Now I also have this trim from Country Craft Creations that has the lace that comes down, and I love that for the bottom of the tag. So I'm going to use my hot glue gun, and I'm going to adhere that to the bottom. And I've been heating up my gun, so we'll see if it's ready. Yep, good. Just put a fine line on there and press that down. Okay. So I like that having lace at the bottom. I think it just adds a lot. Okay, so I think that's on pretty well. Now on top of this lace, I like to usually add something up at the top of it just to kind of give it a finished look. And I have some stuff like some bling from my stash that I think I'm going to adhere on top, and I will glue gun that down too, so that kind of gives it a finished look. So let me put another line of glue across the top, and I try, this is hard to control the thickness, the glue gun that I have. There's got to be, I'm sure there's better glue guns out there. I'll try to make it straight and not burn my hand. Give it a push. Ouch, that did hurt a little bit. Okay, so it's already starting to come together. I have some those glue strings. Alright, so let's lift that up and see if you can see it better. So we're not done. We need to add some more detail. So I went to my stash and I found a couple things. This was gifted to me from a friend, and I'm thinking I'm going to put that up in on one side, an angel. Let's see, maybe right there. And this flower I'm going to use, it's from the Heartland, or the Blue Fern collection too. So I'll probably have a flower there. I have one from my stash. This one has some pearls coming out, and I'll put that one here. I also have some sprays and some crystal type things that I can tuck behind the flowers. So they'll, like that. I'm trying to think if this is where the angel needs to go, or if it should be sitting up on top of the heart. I think I might actually like it on the top of the heart, even though that covers it up a little bit. Okay, I think I'm liking that. So now I will start gluing those things down. So what I'm going to have to do is glue down the sprays first and get an idea of where I want those. And I'm just going to, because it'll be covered with flowers, I'm just going to stick some glue on my tag. I'm going to lay the bottoms of them in that glue. Oop, I don't want that far over. Ouch. Ouch. Okay. So I'll start adding my flowers, and I do use hot glue when I adhere my flowers. So I'll start covering up the base of those pearls that I just added and the crystals. tuck this in behind. So put some glue on there. I'll lift that up, tuck it in. Love it. And this one is good for laying off to the side, so that one will go up like that. So I'm going to put some glue on there, tuck it down inside, push it down in there. Okay. And I found these light pink crystal, they're like rock shaped. I mean, like they come in different shapes. So I'm trying to decide if I need to tuck one of those in there. But I like to do odd numbers. So if I have 3 flowers and one of those crystal things, I think I would need one more. And they just fell out in the box. Like I would tuck one. Let's see if I tuck it in there. I don't like that edge though. Let me turn it around and see if I like that better. Yep, I think I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those down. And again, I'm going to put it on the tag, the glue on the tag, so I can just set the embellishment on top so I know it's in the right spot. Push that down. And I'll put some glue up on this side. And I'll tuck this down in there. And it's coming together pretty nice. So I'm not going to add a whole lot more because we want the paper on the, I'm going to make a bag with the topper that I'm going to attach this to, and so I want it to, the paper to also be seen too. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm going to end up putting the angel about right there. And there is a, let's see, I'll put glue along. Sometimes it's hard for me to get these to stick, but push down, make sure it's stuck on there. And you know, really I think that's all I'm going to need for embellishment so I don't go crazy. So let me bring that a little bit closer so you can see it. There's a terrible shadow. Sorry. I tried turning off the light earlier, but there was still a shadow, I thought. The lighting in my basement's terrible. Alright, so now all I'm going to do is take my seam binding and I will go with the red. And I'll cut a piece, probably 8 inches, 6 inches. So this is the seam binding, and I'm going to squirt some water in my hand. And I'm just going to roll the seam binding up so that it has a weathered look, or an aged look, antique-y. Okay. So now it's got the crinkly look. And I'm going to put that through this hole. It's folded in half, folded it in half and stuck the loop towards the back. I'm going to push those 2 pieces through. Can't get a hold of it. Give it a scrunch. Get rid of that extra little piece hanging off. And there you go. So there's the tag, and I'm going to attach it to a decorated bag, and I will do the bag next with the topper and then attach this so you can see how nice it looks once you put everything together, and it still accents the paper. So let's get ready for the bag. So we're going to start the bag with the topper. And I got these white bags, 2 for $1 at the dollar store. And they're just the regular size. So to make sure you get the right ones so that your paper works, it's about 8 inches across at the base and about 4 1/4. on the bottom. So that's how you know if you're getting the right one. So we're only going to put paper on one side, and I picked a red base, and so the red base is going to be 7.5 by 8.5. So here's my red base, 7.5 by 8.5 on the back, and I already put score tape on it to adhere it to the bag. And then the paper on the top is 7 by 8. Okay, so this is 7 by 8. And when we adhere this to our paper bag, we're going to put it a little bit lower because the topper will have a lip that hangs down. So to adhere this, we're just going to go more towards the bottom. Okay, so after I adhered, I used art glitter glue to attach the 7 by 8 piece to the 7.5 by 8.5 piece. Put score tape on the back. Make sure I have that on tight or firm. I'm going to peel this off, and we'll take care of this piece right away. The nice thing about this bag is that, like I said, it showcases the beautiful paper. It's pretty fast and easy, and I think it looks really, very classy when we're done. And so if you need a quick gift bag, and you don't want it to look junky, alright, so I'm going to center it again closer to the bottom. And make sure that you're not, obviously, you don't do it on this side. You do it on the other side. And that looks about right. And I'm going to press it down real firm. Get my bone folder just to make sure. Okay, and so we're actually going to just put this piece aside. Our bag is, that's all we're doing. We're not doing the back. We're going to keep that plain. So I'm going to move this to the side, and let's work on the topper. Okay, so for the topper, again, this is for that bag that has that base measurement that I told you. So you need a piece of paper that is 8.5 by 12. Okay, 8.5 by 12. And what you're going to do is on, there goes the auto-focusing that I don't know how to fix. Darn it. I gotta figure out how to do that. Give it a second. It's not doing anything. It's getting on my nerves. Okay, I'm gonna move this white out of the way. I'll pretend like I gotta figure this out. This is gonna, that's my job, to master that. There we go. Holy moly. Okay, so it's 12 across and 8.5 up and down. And all you're going to do is on all four sides score at 2 inches. So 2 inches, turn it 2 inches, turn it 2 inches, turn it 2 inches. Okay. And what I like to do then is I want it to have a decorative bottom. And so I have this, I think it's a Martha Stewart punch. And I'm just going to go ahead and punch right now along the 4 sides. And I don't have to go all the way to the end. And you get to watch me punch these. And so I'm past the score line, so I can stop. Now I'm going to turn it. And line that up just right. This really does go fast. And can't see. Probably one more on this side. Okay, it's past the score line, so I can turn it to the other side. Move it down. Past the score line, so I can stop. And one more side. You don't have to do a decorative bottom if you don't want to, but I think it looks much nicer. And probably one more. Okay, so let me get rid of all these little pieces of paper here. Okay, so I am going to now score, I already scored it, I'm going to burnish the sides. So I'm going to fold back on the score lines. Oopsie. to do that on all four. And my third side. And the last side. Now, because of the punch that I used, oh, look at all these little scraps I gotta take out. Because of the punch that I used, I need to do some trimming so that when I fold it, it folds right. So I'm going to cut I'm going to cut to the bottom of my punch going over like this. Let me see. So I'm going to go to the score line and I'm going to match it at the bottom of the punch. And that's going to look dumb to have that little piece just hanging there, so I'll trim that. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm just going to cut it to the score line and then to on the score line. So see, it's going to have that little scallop border taken off. So I'm going to do that to all four sides. And like I said, you go to the score line. So you might have to trim a little bit off the top too. And over here. There's the two ends done to the score line. And a little bit to clip on that one. And one more corner. And clip. Okay, so let me clean up my workspace, get the scraps out of there. So now what we're going to do is, I'm looking at my paper with the 12-inch side going in front of me, and I'm going to take my scissors and cut up to the score line. Okay, and I'm going to do that on each side. So just up to the score line on both sides. Up to, and one more. Okay, so they fold in like this. Okay, so that's going to have us attaching our pieces in the corners so that we have our lid. However, before I do my attaching, I need to make the holes, or this cut out a piece for the handles. And so if you notice, let's see if I can get this under there. I need to cut out a section that will get my handles through. So I'm going to measure my bag to see where I need to cut. So what I do is, the handle starts at about 2 1/4, and then there's one at about 5 1/2. So I'm going to mark my paper from 2 1/4 to 5 1/2. So I'm going to find the 2 1/4 mark, and I'm just going to put a little tick mark. And what did I say, 5 1/2? I better measure again because I don't remember. 2 1/4 to 5 1/2. So let me put that back down. 5 1/2. Okay, so I just put two little tick marks. Can you see those? And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to mark it at 2 1/4 and 5 1/2. Okay, so the next part is going to require an X-Acto knife, and we are going to cut a small slit from the 2 1/4 to 5 1/2 inch line on the score line, and then we're also going to be cutting another line about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch in, so that it's more of a rectangle instead of a straight line. So I'm going to do the first one, and I'm going to line up my ruler so I can still see those tick marks, and I can't see it, so I'm going to make it a little bit have it come through a little bit more. Okay. And I have a metal ruler, and I'm just going to go from one tick mark to the next. Okay, and let's see if it went through, because I think I might need a new blade. Yep, that went through. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my ruler over just a smidgen. I'm going to line it up, and I'm going to do another one from 2 1/4 to 5 1/2. And did that go through? No, so I gotta do it again. I think it was more on the ruler than in. Okay. There we go, I can feel it. Okay, and so now I'm just gonna I'm not gonna use my ruler, I'm just gonna snip the end here. Not snip, but I'm gonna use my X-Acto knife. And do the same thing down here so that it comes out. Okay, so then we have a little slit. And I'm going to go ahead and erase the pencil mark because I can see it and I don't want to see it. Okay, I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. And I might need to extend those lines so I can see once the ruler's down. Line it up on the score line. And let's see if that went through. Yep. And I'm going to move it in a little bit, about 1/4, 1/8, do 1/4 of an inch, and do the same length. And did that go through? Let me check. Yeah, it did. Okay, then I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife on the end and just eyeball this. It's small enough that it should be fine. And down here. Okay, that was easy. But measure your bag, because I think the handles can be in different spots depending on the bag, especially when they're from the dollar store. Okay, so now I'm going to put adhesive in the 4 corners so that we can attach them to make our corners. Okay, so I'm going to take a second to put on, I'm going to use score tape. And you know what, before I do that, I think I'm going to go ahead and put my paper on, my decorative paper. So what I did was measured how long the side was, and this is about it's almost 8 but not quite, so I'm going to say 7 7/8. So because mine is 7 7/8, I'll probably cut mine, you know what, I already cut mine ahead of time to save time, and I didn't want to have to waste paper, so mine might be a hair short, but let me measure. Mine went to I cut it to 7 3/4, okay, and I went 1 1/4 on going up and down, so 1 1/4 by 7 1/2. And then I wanted to put in the decorative paper on top, and so I just made my measurements about 1/4 of an inch smaller. This is the one where I didn't want to waste paper, so I have more of a space at the end than what I would really want, but I wanted to conserve the paper, so mine are a little shorter. And then I put score tape on the back, and so that's going to go right here, and it's going to take up pretty much the whole space. So I'm going to take off my score tape. Mine was close, so you can adjust your measurements based off of your bag, but I'm going to have to be careful because I want to see the punch. Okay, and I'll do the other side too. I already have mine put together, and again, mine are a little bit shorter with the decorative paper because I wanted to save it. Normally I would this looks like about 1/4 of an inch on each side, which is 1/2 inch, and I don't like it that big, but I can live with it this time. And flatten it. I'm going to turn it and do the other side. So mine on this side measure about 4.5. So I went 4, I think. Did I? I went 4 1/4 for my red base paper. 4 1/4 for the base, and then you can do your decorative paper a little bit smaller. And then once again, I already have the adhesive on the back, and I'm just going to place that on the side. And which way do I want this to go? This way. Okay, flatten it down, and I have one more side, and then I'll do the top. And I have that pre-cut too, just to save time. So this last one will go here. I think everybody's probably watching the Super Bowl today, but I'm totally not a football person. So I thought I would get some crafting done. All right. And that looks good. And the inside, I just measured my paper to go on the inside of where I cut the little slit. So it looks like it would be about 4 inches, so that I don't have to do any adjusting, that it'll, and then it'll make a natural white border. So I went 4 inches, but you'll have to measure yours just to see. And then how long did I make mine? About 7 3/4. Okay, and that's going to lay inside, and I want to make sure that I have enough opening for the handles. And I think I'm going to trim mine just a hair, because I don't think this one's going to be big enough. So I'm just going to place that in my trimmer. And I already had taken my Tim Holtz. I'd already done my Tim Holtz with my, what's that called? Victorian velvet. So now, being as I trimmed it, let me just do that real quick. And when I put adhesive on, I put it on the ends, but then I moved it in a little bit so that it wouldn't cover if it accidentally overlapped on those rectangles. I didn't want it to do that. So let's see if that's better. Yep, I think I can live with that better. Okay. I still, you know what? Maybe it's because I didn't cut this one on the score line. Let me see if I can just quickly take a little bit out. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if that works better for me. Yep, it does. I just wanted to give it a little bit more width to get the handles in there. All right, so now I'm going to adhere this middle piece. And like I said, I placed my adhesive strategically so it wouldn't end up on those openings. And I probably should be better about giving you the measurements or writing them down for you, but for this particular project, I really think you just need to measure on your own, because all these bags are a little bit different. And usually I like to put my decorative paper 1/4 of an inch difference, but I think this one I did a little bit more. So I'm going to turn this sideways, and I want to center this, and I think that works. Okay, so I think it'll be easier now to put your paper on ahead of time before you make the actual box lid. So I'm going to now put the adhesive on those 4 corners, and this next part will go super fast, and then I'll show you what the bag looks like all put together with the topper and our tag. I think it's going to look really pretty. You can't really go wrong with Blue Fern paper, though. I think no matter what you do, it's beautiful. No matter what you make. And I'm just putting 2 pieces. You know, sometimes I put more, but I think that being this isn't, it's just going to be on the top of the bag, it'll be strong enough with the two pieces. Okay. All right, so just make sure that your adhesive's down real well. And I'm going to take off these two pieces. And I'm going to tuck it, I'm going to turn it upside down. And it's going to tuck behind this piece. Okay. And I'm going to push it. Okay. And now I'll take the adhesive off one of the other corners. And give it a push. I have two corners left. I'm going to take the adhesive off both of these before. I think it'll be easier to take them both off. That last corner will be kind of tricky if I don't do that now. Now I'll take this side off. Okay. Fabulous. All right, I'm going to fold it up. Make sure it meets the corner there. Make sure the corners meet here. And there you have your lid. Fabulous, fabulous. It's hard for me to get it the right spot in the camera, sorry. Okay, so easy, easy. And now I'm going to show you. Now I say that, it's probably going to be tricky the way my camera's set up. I can't win with this camera, I'll tell you what. So here's our bag. Okay, I'm going to open it. And you cannot see a thing. Let's see. I'll lay it down on its side. And I'm going to slide the lid on for you sideways so you can see. I'm going to poke the handles through the openings that we cut. I can't see it. There we go. Okay. So there's that, and now I'm going to attach that pretty tag that I made, and then I will move the camera so you can see what it looks like. And I'm just going to do this off camera real quick. I'm just tying the tag onto the corner handle. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to take the camera down again. So I apologize if it gets shaky. Oh, sorry. Probably making you dizzy. Alright, so we have our lid and our tag attached to the corner. You can still see the pretty design on the corner from the paper. I think someone would love to get this gift package. Okay. Ooh, I apologize about the bad background. Ooh, you see all my gross stuff. Alright, people, I hope that this is something that you can do pretty quickly for a not just Valentine's Day, but a birthday gift, an anniversary gift, whatever. And then people can't see inside. Forget about the tissue. You've got a lid instead. So hopefully this all made sense to you. Again, as always, leave me a comment if you have any questions. Most of the things that I used, I got from Country Craft Creations. So thanks for watching my channel. Have a good day. Bye.